This video was made in collaboration with NARUTOPEDIA. For more information, check out the link in the description. The Life of Kakashi Hatake from Naruto. Kakashi Hatake is a shinobi of Konohagakure's Hatake clan. Famed as Kakashi of the Sharingan, he is one of Konoha's most talented ninja, regularly looked to for advice and leadership despite his personal dislike of responsibility. To his students on Team 7, Kakashi teaches the importance of teamwork, a lesson he received along with the Sharingan from his childhood friend Obito Uchiha. After the Fourth Shinobi World War, Kakashi becomes Konoha's 6th Hokage. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Kakashi Hatake. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Early life. Because his mother died when he was very young, Kakashi was raised during his early years by his father Sakumo. Sakumo was famed throughout the shinobi world, having saved Konoha on at least one occasion. Kakashi, in particular, revered his father. During one of Sakumo's missions, after Kakashi was enrolled in Konoha's Ninja Academy, Sakumo made the decision to save the lives of his teammates rather than complete the assignment. The mission's failure had disastrous consequences for the Land of Fire, causing many in Konoha, including the teammates he saved, to vilify him for abandoning his duties. Disgraced, Sakumo committed suicide. Seeing what his father went through and determined not to make the same mistakes, Kakashi decided that following the shinobi rules must always take priority. But Kakashi elected to abandon Rin, believing that it was more important to finish the mission before concerning themselves with her safety. Obito refused to go along with this and went off to save Rin by himself. Before he left, he told Kakashi that Sakumo had been a hero and that although it was bad to abandon one's mission, it was worse to abandon one's teammates. Kakashi began carrying out the mission alone, but ultimately decided that Obito was right and went to join him. He arrived in time to save Obito from Taiseki with his white light chakra saber, which he inherited from his father. Taiseki turned invisible and tried launching a sneak attack on Obito. Kakashi protected him, but his left eye was badly damaged in the process. In that moment, Obito awakened his Sharingan and used it to kill Taiseki. They then entered the cave where Rin was being held, drove off Kako, and released Rin from the genjutsu he had placed her under. Kako retaliated by forcing a cave-in, and Kakashi, due to his damaged eye, was struck in his blind spot and had difficulty avoiding the fallen rocks. Before he could be crushed by a large boulder, Obito pushed him out of the way, becoming trapped himself. Unable to get free and knowing his injuries were too serious to survive, Obito decided to make his last act, giving Kakashi the present he forgot to give him earlier, his Sharingan, to replace the eye Kakashi lost. After Rin transplanted Obito's Sharingan into him, Kakashi confronted Kako. His white light chakra saber was destroyed during the ensuing fight, but he succeeded in killing him with Chidori, due to the Sharingan's heightened vision. Kakashi was finally able to handle its speed. He went back to where Obito and Rin were, but Iwa reinforcements soon arrived and started constricting the rubble. Obito asked Kakashi to take Rin away and keep her safe, which he did, leaving Obito behind. As the Iwa nin started surrounding them, Kakashi attacked them for as long as he could, holding them off until Minato eventually tracked them down and finished off the rest. Minato assisted them with destroying the Kanabi Bridge, and then returned with them to Konoha to mourn Obito's death. Despite many from the Uchiha clan being against Kakashi wielding a Sharingan as he had no blood ties to them, Fugaku Uchiha, the Uchiha head, chose to honor Obito's dying actions and let Kakashi keep his gift. During a later mission, Rin was kidnapped by Kirigakure. Kakashi was eventually able to rescue her and started taking her back to Konoha. Along the way, Rin revealed that Kiri had sealed the Three Tails into her body with the intention to, once she inevitably lost control of it, have it unleashed on Konoha and destroy the village from within. In order to prevent this from happening, Rin begged Kakashi to kill her, but he refused, unwilling to break his promise to Obito to protect her and hoping to find some other solution. When Kiri Nin caught up with them and made false efforts to retrieve her, Kakashi fought them off with his renamed Chidori, the Lightning Cutter. During one of these attacks, Rin jumped in front of Kakashi's attack, dying by his hand so Konoha would be safe. The trauma of this caused his Sharingan to evolve into a Mangekyo Sharingan shortly before Kakashi passed out. He was later found by Konoha reinforcements, but none could explain the slaughter of all the Kiri forces. Enchi Bridge Reconnaissance Mission. During her fight with Sasori, Sakura learned of an opportunity to possibly meet with Sasuke in a few days' time. Kakashi must remain in bed while he recovers and therefore cannot go. In his place, Team 7 is led by an Anbu codenamed Yamato, who Kakashi once knew as Tenzo. Before Team 7 sets out, Yamato, Tsunade, and Jiraiya meet with Kakashi to discuss Naruto's deteriorating control of the Nine Tails' power. Akatsuki Suppression Mission. Although Team 7 was able to meet Sasuke, he was too strong for them to capture and bring back to Konoha. Once Kakashi's done recuperating, he calls them before him and is introduced to Sai, who is effectively Sasuke's replacement on the team. They speak only briefly, but both approve of each other. Kakashi believes the best way to match Sasuke would be for Naruto to create a new jutsu. Before he can elaborate further, they are interrupted by the arrival of Asuma, Sarutobi, and the rest of Team 10. When their students leave to have dinner, Asuma lingers behind to discuss something with Kakashi, only to change his mind when Kurenai Yuhi comes looking for him. To help Naruto create a new jutsu, Kakashi first establishes what his nature is: wind. With that settled, Kakashi trains Naruto on how to learn to use the wind nature. Ordinarily, such training would take months or years, but Naruto, by training alongside hundreds of shadow clones, can do the same training in a mere fraction of the time. With Kakashi's instructions and training grounds created by Yamato, Naruto quickly masters how to use the wind nature. The next step is more difficult for him, combining that nature with the Rasengan. Because Kakashi and Minato Namikaze both failed to combine their natures with the Rasengan, Kakashi can't offer Naruto any tips and can only watch as he tries to develop something. When they receive news that Asuma died in battle with members of Akatsuki, they take a break to attend Asuma's funeral. Because he can be of no further assistance to Naruto, Kakashi leaves Yamato in charge of watching over him. Kakashi, meanwhile, volunteers to help Team 10 avenge Asuma. Shikamaru Nara, having previously come up with a plan, modifies it to take Kakashi's presence into consideration. Once they locate the Akatsuki members, Hidan and Kakazu, Kakashi hides until Kakazu is driven to use his Earth Spear, at which point Kakashi pierces him through the heart with his lightning cutter. Kakazu, who has more than one heart, fends Kakashi off and uses the elemental masks of his Earth Grudge Fear to put Team 10 on the defensive. Needing to separate Hidan and Kakazu if they're to have any chance of victory, Shikamaru takes a vial of Kakazu's blood that Kakashi secretly collected and leads Hidan away. Shikamaru is able to trick Hidan into using the blood to curse Kakazu, destroying the second of his hearts in time to stop him from stealing Kakashi's. Angered by the loss of 2 hearts, Kakazu prepares to kill Kakashi and Team 10. His attack is blocked by the combined efforts of Naruto and Yamato, who arrive with Sakura and Sai to lend assistance. Kakashi summons Pakun to lead Sakura and Sai to Shikamaru in case he needs help, while everyone else prepares to attack Kakazu. Naruto, having finished his jutsu, volunteers to face Kakazu alone. His new wind-release Rasen Shuriken is temperamental, however, forcing Kakashi and Yamato to rescue him when it fails on its first use. It succeeds on the second time, destroying 2 of Kakazu's hearts and putting the last one on the brink of failure. Kakashi is deeply impressed by the Rasen Shuriken and tells Kakazu that the previous generation being surpassed by the next was perfectly natural. Kakashi then finished him off with a lightning cutter. Three Tails appearance. In the anime, Kakashi leads Team 8 on a mission to investigate one of Orochimaru's recently discovered bases. During their investigation, they're attacked by Guren, one of Orochimaru's subordinates, who traps them in her Jade Crystal Labyrinth technique. Team 7 eventually arrives to lend assistance and helps them escape, but while going after Guren, they come across the Three Tails. Kakashi requests additional assistance from Konoha, and once it arrives, they attempt to seal the Three Tails. Guren and her team interrupt them and the Three Tails gets away, but Guren's team is defeated. They are then recalled to Konoha with Anbu sent to seal the Three Tails in their place. Itachi Pursuit Mission. News reaches Konoha that Sasuke has killed Orochimaru. Realizing that this is a good opportunity to try once again to reunite with Sasuke, Kakashi combines Team 7 and 8 into an 8-man squad with their mission to either find Sasuke or his assumed target, Itachi. They split up and look for leads on either Uchiha, with Kakashi providing one or more of his Ninken to those without any particular tracking ability. None find anything until witnessing CO. They converge at its epicenter and can detect Sasuke's trail. Fated battle between brothers. As they near Sasuke's location, they're intercepted by Akatsuki member Tobi. They make repeated attempts to kill or capture him, but every attack passes through him without sign of damage. Zetsu eventually appears and reports to Tobi that Itachi has died in battle with Sasuke. No longer needing to distract the 8-man squad, Tobi disappears. Before he goes, Kakashi notices that he has a Sharingan. Kakashi scouts the area and notices Itachi's Amaterasu in the distance. They rush there, hoping to reach Sasuke before Tobi does, but they are too late and cannot rediscover his trail. Six Tails Unleashed. In the anime, Katsuyu meets with them as they return to Konoha to give them a new mission, helping the Tsuchigumo clan protect its forbidden technique. Kakashi sends Yamato with Team 7 to complete the mission while he returns to the village with Team 8. Pain's Assault. Back in Konoha, Kakashi is informed that Jiraiya has died while investigating the Akatsuki leader, Pain. He is present when the news is shared with Naruto, who was too distraught to be of assistance and needed some time alone. Before he died, Jiraiya sent a number of things to Konoha that would help them against pain, including an encrypted message. Shikamaru is able to properly console and get Naruto to help him decode it, who realizes that the key to its decryption must be Icha tactics. Kakashi, having the only copy, is asked to read specific passages aloud, which makes him extremely uncomfortable. Nevertheless, the message is deciphered. Pain attacks Konoha soon afterwards. While some of the 6 paths of pain draw attention to themselves, others avoid conflict and try to learn the whereabouts of Naruto, who had gone to Mount Myoboku to train. Kakashi guesses this tactic and goes searching for one of the latter group. In doing so, he finds the Diva Path, and by confronting it, he is able to save Iruka Umino. Kakashi tries to corner the Diva Path so he can destroy it with his lightning cutter, but it repels him with Shinra Tensei. Pain, recognizing that Kakashi is a dangerous opponent, sends the Asura Path to help the Diva Path. Kakashi struggles against both due to the shared vision of their Rinnegan, but their clashing jutsu at least attracts reinforcements' attentions. Choza and Choji Akamichi cripple the Asura Path while they arrive. From careful observation of the Diva Path's abilities, Kakashi notices a brief cooldown period between its jutsu. To take advantage of this, Kakashi plants chains under it and has Choza and Choji attack it from opposite sides. When they're deflected by Shinra Tensei, they grab the chains and restrain him, giving Kakashi an opportunity to attack with his lightning cutter. Before he can land the blow, the Asura Path uses itself as a shield, giving the Diva Path time to counter. It defeats all of Kakashi's reinforcements and binds Kakashi in the rubble. Anticipating that Kakashi will interfere if allowed to live, the Diva Path propels a nail at his head to kill him and leaves. Kakashi, however, only pretends to be dead, warping away the nail at the last moment with Kamui. When Choji wakes up, Kakashi sends him to Tsunade to tell her everything they've learned about the Diva Path abilities. The still functioning Asura Path fires a missile at Choji in an attempt to stop him, forcing Kakashi to use Kamui again to warp away the missile. This depletes his chakra reserves and causes his death. After dying, Kakashi finds his father, Sakumo, waiting for him. He entreats Kakashi to tell him about his life, with which Kakashi complies. He concludes his story by saying that he understands the choices Sakumo made when he was alive, and he is proud to be his son. Just then, a light envelops Kakashi, a sign of his revival. Before Kakashi returns to the living plains, Sakumo thanks him for putting him at peace at long last, allowing him to continue to the afterlife. Kakashi wakes up, surprising those nearby. He is informed of what happened while he was dead, such as that Pain destroyed the village, and that Naruto, upon returning, defeated Pain. As Naruto returns to Konoha, Kakashi goes to meet him and carries him back, where his victory is celebrated by all the villagers. Past arc, the locus of Konoha. In the anime, a traveling musician visits Konoha as it starts rebuilding. Seeing the musician reminds Kakashi of Team 7's encounter with Hanare of the Jomei village. Kaguya Otsutsuki strikes. While the world around them falls to the infinite Tsukiyomi, Sasuke uses his own Rinnegan to shield Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi from its effects. When they emerge, they find Madara has bound the world's population with God, nativity of a world of trees, and trapped them all within perpetual dreams. Madara confronts them and insists that he has ended all conflicts, and that only Team 7, as the only remaining opposition, would seek to renew the cycle of death that plagued the world for centuries. As he's talking, Madara is stabbed from behind by Black Zetsu, who transfers to him from Obito's body to convert him into Kaguya Otsutsuki, Black Zetsu's true master. Kaguya, the origin of chakra, now has access to the chakra supplies of everyone trapped in the infinite Tsukiyomi. She wants Team 7's chakra as well, so she transports them to one of Kaguya's dimensions, a sea of lava. Sasuke saves Naruto from falling in the lava. Kakashi grabs Sakura, ties himself to an unconscious Obito with a scroll, and pins Obito to a wall in order to do the same. The heat causes the scroll to burn up, but Naruto sends a shadow clone to catch them. Unable to continue, Kakashi only watches as Naruto and Sasuke fight Kaguya. Sakura and Obito, once he wakes up, lend support, but Kaguya keeps shifting dimensions in her attempt to defeat them. Kaguya eventually moves them into a dimension with powerful gravity, limiting Naruto and Sasuke's movements while she attacks them with all-killing ash bones. Prepared to give his life to lend what little assistance he can, Kakashi stands in front of Sasuke to take the attack while Obito does the same for Naruto. Although they are unified in their willingness to die, Obito decides it's too soon for Kakashi and uses Kamui on the attack bound for him, leaving Obito unable to save himself. Obito's body dissolves, but his spirit returns shortly afterwards and inhabits Kakashi. Obito feels that Kakashi will become the next Hokage and wishes to reward him by letting Kakashi use his 2 Mangekyo Sharingan. With his Mangekyo, Kakashi is able to manifest Susanoo. He first uses it to save Sakura from Kaguya, and then uses Kamui Shuriken to save Naruto and Sasuke. When Kaguya creates an expansive truth-seeking ball to finally kill them all, Kakashi, realizing that this is their last opportunity, forms a plan of attack. Kakashi pierces through her with Kamui Lightning Cutter. Naruto uses Shadow Clones to exhaust some of her countermeasures, and Kakashi uses Kamui on the rest. Sasuke moves closer to her in order to place a steal on her. Sakura punches her when she tries to escape. Kaguya is defeated, the tailed beasts are removed from her bodies, and she is trapped alongside Black Zetsu with Six Paths Chibaku Tensei. The Sage of Six Paths summons them all back from Kaguya's dimensions and congratulates them for their victory. As his spirit leaves Kakashi's body, Obito apologizes for everything he did when he was alive, but Kakashi states that he's glad they rekindled their friendship before the end. The Sage of Six Paths explains how Naruto and Sasuke can end the infinite Tsukiyomi, but Sasuke has one intention before that: killing the tailed beasts and the 5 Kage. Kakashi is dismayed, assuming Sasuke is still after revenge. Sasuke replies that he only wants to change the world for the better, making hard decisions like this so the world won't get embroiled in another war. Too exhausted to do anything himself, Kakashi stays behind with Sakura while Naruto and Sasuke leave to fight. The Sage of Six Paths uses his last moments to talk with Kakashi, remarking that the centuries of hate may be on the verge of ending due to the love Naruto displays for everyone. The following day, Kakashi and Sakura locate Naruto and Sasuke at the Valley of the End, where the sage's words have proven true. Naruto has convinced Sasuke to give up his intention. Sakura heals their injuries, and they proceed to end the infinite Tsukiyomi, and in the end, the Fourth Shinobi World War. Upon returning to the village, Kakashi attends the mass funeral for the casualties of the war. In the wake of the village recovering from the war, Kakashi succeeds Tsunade and becomes the 6th Hokage, although he is dismayed with the amount of paperwork. Soon after, in the anime, he offers Naruto the chance to become a Jonin at the cost of him spending 2 years studying. Blank period. In the anime, Kakashi and Tsunade stopped by the Konoha military police force from exposing the identities of everyone connected to Root in the aftermath of the group disbanding, in order to avoid suspicion among villagers thinking each other were former members. Kakashi Hiden, Lightning in the Icy Sky. Nearly a year after the war, Kakashi has yet to officially take on the duties of being Hokage, feeling he's unqualified, leaving Tsunade to continue managing Konoha's affairs. Kakashi later leaves for a mission in the Land of Waves. There, Kakashi oversees security for the Tobi Shachimaru's maiden voyage. As the ship prepares to take off, Kakashi spots someone sneaking aboard, discovering it to be Might Guy, who has always wanted to fly. Kakashi finds somewhere out of the way for them to ride out the trip. During the voyage, the Tobi Shachimaru is hijacked by the Ryuha Armament Alliance, who demand that Konoha release their leader, Gario, from the Blood Prison, vowing to kill the hostages and destroy the Tobi Shachimaru if their demands aren't met. Kakashi summons his Ninken to seek out the explosives planted around the ship and confronts the hijackers. Kaio remotely kills 2 hostages with ice, forcing Kakashi to surrender to prevent more from being killed. Guy soon appears to fight the leader of the hijackers, Ryo, keeping him busy so that Kakashi can free himself from his restraints without being noticed. Kakashi is prevented from helping Guy by the appearance of Kaio. Aware that the Armament Alliance was originally motivated by the death of Kaio's innocent son, Kakashi tries to point out that the Armament Alliance's actions now threaten the innocent passengers. Kaio is upset by Kakashi's observation and attacks with ice release, earthen consecutive chains of ice, creating a hole in the ship that starts sucking out Kakashi, Guy, and the passengers. Before he falls from the ship, Kakashi notices Kaio's mask has come off, who he recognizes as the woman he helped before. Kakashi, Guy, and the passengers are saved by Sai, who takes the others to safety, and Kakashi back to the Tobi Shachimaru. When Kakashi returns, Ryo is threatening to allow a sick child to die, believing it's a fair trade for the death of Kaio's son. Kakashi attempts to stop him, but is immediately bound by chains of ice that Kaio planted on him earlier. Kakashi reasons with Kaio and convinces her to let Sai take the child to a doctor. Kakashi is afterwards locked away. While breaking out, he concludes that the hijackers plan to turn the passengers into human bombs. Kakashi confronts Ryo about this, and Kaio, unaware that this was intended, is aghast. Kaio attacks Kakashi and removes the chains of ice so he can fight back, but he stops short of killing her when he realizes that's what she wants out of regret for her actions. The damaged Tobi Shachimaru starts rocking violently, flinging Ryo from the ship, and then rises into the air uncontrollably, threatening to suffocate everyone aboard. Kakashi and Kaio puncture the helium sacs, keeping the ship afloat, and Kaio attempts to control its descent with her ice. When she runs out of moisture with which to make ice, Kakashi leaps from the ship into a storm cloud, using purple electricity to produce rain. He is saved by the 3rd Tsuchikage, who delivers him to the ground. Kakashi watches as the Konoha 11 recapture prisoners escaping during the Armament Alliance's breakout and feels that the generation will someday replace his own. Kakashi feels that he, as Hokage, would like to watch over things until they're ready. Konoha's ninjas search the crashed Tobishachimaru, treating the passengers and taking Kaio into custody. Tsunade threatens to have her executed since she is the highest ranking conspirator to survive the failed jailbreak, but Kakashi requests that he be allowed to pass sentence instead. What would be his first act as Hokage? Kaio will stay at the blood prison for the rest of her life, acting as warden by using her chains of ice on the prisoners. Both Tsunade and Kaio agree to these terms. With his status as Hokage and Naruto's testimony, Kakashi pardons Sasuke and releases him from prison. He and Sakura see Sasuke off as he leaves Konoha to wander the world, with Kakashi requesting him not to cause too much trouble. Shikamaru Hiden, a cloud drifting in silent darkness. The shinobi union that emerged after the end of the Fourth Shinobi World War created an unprecedented peace between the ninja villages. 2 years after the end of the war, that peace is threatened by the emergence of the Land of Silence. Kakashi sent Sai and a team of Anbu to the Land of Silence to investigate, but all go missing. The last communique suggests the Land of Silence's leader, Gengo, must be behind it all. In order to protect the shinobi union's interests, Gengo must be assassinated, a task Shikamaru Nara volunteers for. Kakashi assigns 2 Anbu, Ro and Soku, to assist Shikamaru on what is otherwise to be a top-secret mission. Naruto becomes concerned when Shikamaru fails to return from his mission and barges into Kakashi's office demanding an explanation. Kakashi attempts to maintain the mission's secrecy, but eventually relents, even allowing other Konoha personnel to go to the Land of Silence. Shikamaru is rescued, and when he returns to Konoha, Kakashi gives him a week off. The last, Naruto the movie. 2 years after the Fourth Shinobi World War, Kakashi attends a 5 Kage summit to discuss the imminent crashing of the moon. Shortly after he returns to Konoha, Hanabi Hyuga is kidnapped by Toneri Otsutsuki. Kakashi sends the Hanabi rescue team to save her. He also gives them a special clock that counts down to the moon's collision, asking that they stop it if Toneri is in any way connected. In the following days, meteors increasingly rain down on the world and the Kage decide that the moon must be destroyed. When Sasuke returns an injured Hisashi Hyuga to Konoha, Hisashi reports that Hanabi, and by extension her rescuers, are on the moon. Kakashi reports this to the other Kage, who decide to delay the moon's destruction in order to give Naruto and the others a chance to save them. Naruto ultimately succeeds, using the Nine Tails to carve a mission-complete message into the moon's surface. Sakura Hiden, thoughts of love riding upon a spring breeze. After separate attacks are made on Homura Mitokado and the Land of Fire's daimyo, Kakashi assigns Sai to intervene. Kakashi believes that Kido Sumiki might be somehow involved, so recommends that Sai focus on him. A few days later, Sakura returns from a visit to Tsunagakure with rumors that Sasuke had been plotting against Konoha. Neither he nor Sakura believe it's really Sasuke, so he assigns Sakura and Ino Yamanaka to look into the lookalike. As the rumors start spreading, Kakashi attempts to contact Sasuke to ask if he knows anything, but his inquiries are not answered. Kakashi informs Sakura that the Raikage is contemplating a Kage summit on the rumors and the possibility of hunting down Sasuke. Sai eventually reports that his investigation is apparently the same as Sakura's, so Kakashi combines them into the Ino Saku Sai. Konoha Hiden, the perfect day for a wedding. Kakashi is invited to Naruto's marriage to Hinata Hyuga. He plans to go, but worries that Naruto and Hinata's friends might not be able to attend due to their mission assignments. He therefore gives everyone an assignment to bring a gift to the wedding, thereby ensuring that they will all be available. On the day of the wedding, Kakashi greets foreign guests such as Killer Bee and the 5th Kazukage. Sasuke Shinden, Book of Sunrise. Kakashi informs Naruto, Sakura, and Sai that more than 100 Kumo and Kiri shinobi have gone missing, and learns from Sakura that a few Konoha shinobi are missing as well. Sai informs Kakashi that he had been in contact with Sasuke, whom Kakashi had previously asked to lead the investigation into the disappearances due to that only his ocular powers can cancel genjutsu, and Kumogakure and Kirigakure had agreed to cooperate in the investigation. Kakashi surmises that a genjutsu user captured the missing shinobi and is using genjutsu on them to attack the hidden villages. The village is then attacked by intruders, and Kakashi orders his former students to join with Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino in order to help stop the intruders, whom he later learns are some of the missing shinobi. Once the shinobi are defeated and captured, Kakashi sends a message of the incident to Sasuke, who is traveling to the Land of Lightning and stops at a village in the Land of Hot Water. Sasuke, in turn, sends a letter about his suspicions about the Dark Thunder group being involved. Kakashi has Yamato meet with Sasuke to exchange intel on the situation. Kakashi receives a message from Sasuke that he captured the true culprits, Chino and Nawaki in Yugakure. After Sasuke drops him off at another village, Kakashi arrives to meet with the two, but explains he received a good word from Sasuke about them. Rather than putting them in prison, he is offering them a chance to atone by working for Kumagakure and Kirigakure, which they accept. New Era. On the day of Naruto's Hokage inauguration, he fails to show up, having been knocked out earlier. With no time left to wait, Kakashi has Konohamaru Sarutobi impersonate Naruto so that the festivities can proceed as planned. Retired from active duty, Kakashi continued to assist in village matters and advise his successor. Academy Entrance Arc. In the anime, when learning about the mysterious attacks in the village, Kakashi begins investigating the incident and learns that it involves a root project. Upon reporting his findings to Naruto at the Hokage office, the two discuss the investigation with Shikamaru. Realizing the culprit planned to unleash Nue on the village now that it was nearing completion, Kakashi went in search of the rogue student. Arriving at Senju Park, Kakashi immediately severed the creature's tails, resulting in the spontaneous emergence of dozens of smaller tails, which it used to steal chakra from Sai's men. After saving them, Kakashi organized the team to hold off the creature. As Naruto arrives, Kakashi stops him from fighting, explaining that the creature's intention was to gather enough chakra to produce a powerful explosion to destroy the village. As the shinobi attempt to subdue the beast, it teleports away, much to Kakashi's surprise. Kakashi deduced that while this creature was a summoning, it uniquely existed normally in a separate dimension, leaving others unable to follow it. Konoha Shinden, Steam Ninja Scrolls. On the day of the Kage Summit in Konoha, Kakashi leaves for the Land of Hot Water with Guy and Mirai Sarutobi. Later, the group arrived in the Land of Hot Water. There they found annual festival/competition where a town was split between two beliefs on its origins, some believing that there is a cat spirit and others believed it to be a dog spirit. Mirai stopped the chaos by producing a fire release in unison with the genjutsu to form a cat-dog spirit, which told the townspeople to stop the feuding. When Guy believed the genjutsu to be a demon and attacked it, he accidentally knocked down the main wall that split the town, thereby convincing the villagers that it was a sign for them to truly come together. Afterwards, Kakashi applauded Mirai on combining the signature skills of her parents. During a stop at an inn, they met a young orphan named Tatsumi, who, despite having no money, was determined to visit all the hot springs in the land in memory of her late mother. At Mirai's request, it was agreed that the little girl could join them on their trip. Later, during the trip, Tatsumi and Mirai snuck off in the hopes of a nearby hot spring rumored to let people talk with loved ones from the past. Kakashi and Guy soon found them, learning that the rumored hot spring was a ruse conceived by remnants of the near-forgotten Jashin cult to restore their former glory and power. Kakashi, along with Guy and Mirai, swiftly defeated the fanatics. Later, it was revealed that Kakashi and Guy's vacation was in fact a cover for their working with the Land of Hot Water to uncover the truth behind the missing girls. Graduation Exams Arc. Offering his services as a proctor for the upcoming graduation exams, Kakashi disguised himself as Sukiya, a freelance reporter who interviewed various students to better understand their respective nature. After classes, Kakashi met up with Boruto, who helped him meet with the students. As Boruto was amazed that his classmates all had plans for the future, some as ninja and some decided to pursue goals outside ninja work, Kakashi noted that while the world had become in less need of ninja skills can prove valuable in other fields. He also noted that regardless, one must always decide on goals if they wish to grow as individuals. Later, talking to Iruka in his office, Iruka suggested that Kakashi not be too hard on the students come the final exams. Kakashi clarifies that even in peaceful times, they can't allow students with contemptuous attitudes to become shinobi, and as such will be as challenging as ever. During the practical test of the exams, the students were left awe-stricken that the 6th Hokage was to be their head proctor. It was explained that while Shino Aburame, Anko Mitarashi, and Konohamaru Sarutobi would be evaluating the students' respective performances in a 24-hour field combat, ultimately only one student could pass. That student would be the one who takes a single bell from Kakashi's hip. While others were annoyed by this, Kakashi insisted that they had already had enough shinobi in this era of peace. As the test began, many of the students began to scramble. Boruto soon found Kakashi and attacked hard, but the legendary ninja easily saw through his tactics. While admitting that Boruto was truly a genius well above the rest of his generation, he still lacked a very crucial aspect to deserve being a ninja, quickly pinning the Uzumaki down. Kakashi explained that a ninja with no resolve will only doom themselves, and that Boruto is solely responsible for his classmates becoming so lazy and carefree. To prove his point, he revealed himself as Sukiya from earlier, showing how well he knows Boruto. As Boruto continued to struggle free from the 6th hold, his fellow classmates provided enough distraction for him to escape. Later, having listened to the nature of Kakashi's words, but also to the encouragement of his friends, Boruto conceived a plan to save the captured classmates and pass the test. realizing the true nature behind it. Boruto designed a group assault on Kakashi, but he quickly saw through the facade, easily repelling the entire class's group assault on him. However, this was a trick that drew Kakashi into a group string-light formation. Deeply impressed, Kakashi attempted to repel them with a lightning burst, but the students refused to let the technique be broken, even when knocked to the ground. Ultimately, time ran out before anyone could get the bell. Despite Boruto's plan failing, Kakashi passed everyone, cheerfully noting while they actually had zero chance of taking the bell, they succeeded in the true goal of the test: teamwork and loyalty. Naruto Shinden, Parent and Child Day. When Konohagakure began a new holiday, Parent and Child Day, Kakashi discovered that the constantly traveling Sasuke had returned to the village and was struggling to connect with his daughter. Realizing that Sasuke hardly knew anything about his daughter since he had been away for most of her life, Kakashi decided to help out using ideas from his Icha series. Soon realizing that these ideas were better suited for a romantic couple, as they only succeeded in further estranging Sasuke from his daughter and even making Sasuke more furious at Kakashi, the retired Hokage suggested asking Sakura for advice since she knows her family better. Versus Momoshiki arc. As investigations on Kaguya continued, it was discovered that her creation of the White Zetsu army was an extra precaution for a looming threat. Sometime after attending a village meeting with Naruto, Kakashi attends the finals for the Chunin exams in Konoha alongside Guy and Iruka. When the stadium is attacked by Kinshiki and Momoshiki Otsutsuki, Kakashi helps rescue spectators in the arena. Mitsuki's disappearance arc. In the anime, after the defeat of the attackers and Konohagakure's recovery from the attack, a Kage summit was held. Kakashi and the other retired Kage were in attendance to discuss the still looming threat of the Otsutsuki. The next morning, when two Chunin Gate guards were attacked by unknown assailants, the village was put on lockdown. Kakashi joined Naruto and his advisors when overseeing Ino probe one of the guards' minds for answers, learning that Mitsuki had left willingly with the attackers. When Naruto revealed to the others Mitsuki was in fact Orochimaru's son, much outrage followed from learning that Naruto would permit an offspring of the man who killed the third Hokage live in Konohagakure, let alone keep it a secret. Naruto rationalized this on the grounds that Orochimaru's conduct had changed from before and for his aid in investigating the Otsutsuki. Despite this, noting the unpredictable nature of Orochimaru, the meeting ended and deemed the Oto-born boy as a threat. As the council and Hokage continued to talk about how to best deal with this, Kakashi voiced his overall approval of Naruto's actions, noting that Naruto would never do anything he thought would bring danger to the village, and that the elders wouldn't even consider letting the boy in the village had they known the full story to begin with. Kara Actuation Arc. In the anime, Kakashi felt a bad air about him, worrying that things were going to get difficult for him. Kakashi's fears were soon realized when Boruto approached him for help. He got Ibiki Morino to transfer Shojoji from prison to a police facility to face off against Boruto. While Ibiki was concerned by this, Kakashi promised to take full responsibility. As Shojoji reminded Kakashi of the terms of their agreement, Kakashi swore to keep his word to reduce Shojoji's sentence, but that also meant that Shojoji would have to actually defeat Boruto. During the match, Shojoji's wind release Shield of the Wind count proved to be as powerful against Boruto's attacks as previously. This prompted Boruto to use his new Compression Rasengan. It was able to overpower Shojoji's defenses and swiftly defeat him. As Kakashi commended Boruto for coming up with the alternate plan to condense his Rasengan rather than expand it, Boruto collapsed as his long hours of training caught up to him, still impressing Kakashi with Boruto's capacities. Kakashi brought Boruto back to the hospital to recover. Upon his awakening, Kakashi applauded Boruto's accomplishments but warned him of the dangers of his new technique, noting that the Compression Rasengan comes with great recoil that can cause great strain on his arm. It is not a technique that Boruto should use often. Did you enjoy our video? Make sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.